Using the PEG checklists from Jazzit. This video assumes you have successfully installed and copied the checklists into your client engagement files. If not, these instructional videos are available as installing the PEG checklists from Jazzit and adding Jazzit checklists to your client files. In this video we provide an overview of the functionality available in these checklists, including the following: arrangement of the checklists on the document manager of the file, options available to the Jazzit administrators in the resource centers, functionality available to file preparers, the digital letterhead option, and materiality options. The checklists could be distributed throughout the document manager of the client files or contained within the original folders as provided in the PEG master file. In this example, the checklists are within their own folders at the top of the document manager. Here, the checklist folder is compressed. By opening the folder, we can view the PEG review checklists. At the top we have the control document, the JZPCKEY. Opening the control document, we are able to see the path to the checklist resource center, in this case the PEG review KLib. If we were in an audit file, the control document, JZPCKEY, would be connected to the PEG audit resource center, the PEG audit KLib. Since we are in a review file and the PEG review and compilation checklists are bundled together, we need to ensure that we compare the review checklists, not the compilation checklists, by setting the engagement to review using this drop-down and selecting review. Once the engagement type has been set, scroll down to the top of the diagnostics report. This cell is currently set to display the status of only the review checklists found in the file. Clicking on the drop-down allows you to switch the option to display the complete list of all the PEG review checklists available in the resource center against the checklists currently in the file. In this case, we see there are two checklists available in the resource center that we do not have available in the file. If we decide we do require these checklists in the current engagement, we can then copy them in from the PEG review master file using copy components. The list of staff names and initials working on the client file can be entered in this table, and they will then be available for selection in the drop-downs of the initials column. If this list is maintained in the Resource Center version of this control document, you are able to quickly populate the list in the client files from the Resource Center copy using this Set to Default button. To explore the functionality available to the Jazzit administrators, we will open the checklist 3A Cache Review Procedures. On the left you will note the familiar document map feature used in the fundamentals documents as well. Because I need to demonstrate the functionality available to the Jazzit administrators, I need to place two documents side by side on the screen. So to enable us to view more of the documents, I'm turning this document map feature off and reducing the document to one side of the screen so that I can open the PEG Review Resource Center on the other side, and then open the Resource Center copy of the 3A checklist. As with all the Resource Center documents, this one is locked. Click on the Lock Unlock icon to unlock it. Use the password provided at the time of purchase. Click OK and OK again. I'm switching off the document map feature here as well. The administrator options are available near the top of the document. For the purposes of this demonstration, in the client file checklist on the right, I'm scrolling down to the procedure listings. Here we can see the procedure wording is displayed in input cells, indicated by the shaded background in each cell, which allows the wording to be edited. The ability to edit the procedure wording can be locked out using this option in the Resource Center version of the checklist. Once this option is set to No Access to Edit Options or Procedure Text, and the document has been saved, you can apply the change to the checklist in the client and master files by reloading the document from the Resource Center using the Reload Update button at the top. Scrolling back to the top, use this button to reload the checklist from the Resource Center with the new settings we just applied. When we go back down to the procedures, you will notice that the procedure text is no longer contained in input paragraphs and cannot be edited. In the same way, any of these options available to the Jazzit administrators can be applied to the checklists in the client or master files. The Summary of Balances section at the top can be displayed or hidden. You can also elect to retain the Summary of Balances section when reloading or updating the checklist from the Resource Center. The number of procedure sections can be increased if required. Certain columns can also be hidden if they are not required. Various sections like the instructions before the first procedure, the conclusion paragraph, or the sign-off area at the bottom of the checklist can all be enabled or disabled. Those were the options available to the Jazzit administrators. Now let's look at the functionality available to the file preparers in each checklist. We'll start with a Summary of Balances table at the top of the document. Here users have the option to include either the dollar or percentage variance using these checkboxes. The lines linked to the trial balance are linked by account by default, but the default link type can be changed using this drop-down. You can also include up to a full 5 years in the variance analysis table by opening the folder Notes for the Preparer and checking off this checkbox. When we then jump to the Summary of Balances section, the table has been expanded using the full 5-year history available in the caseware file. In the procedure tables, if a section is not required for a specific engagement, you can set the entire section to skip using the drop-down to the right of the section heading and selecting Not Applicable. The section is then skipped as indicated by the blue text, which doesn't print. You could also simply double-click the cell to apply the Not Applicable. You don't need to select it from the drop-down options. When the Not Applicable is selected, the preparer's initials and the system date are automatically applied as well. When responding to the individual procedures in a section, you can either select your response from these drop-downs by clicking on them and selecting Yes, No, or Not Applicable. You can also simply double-click on the cell, which then cycles through the options available without having to select from the drop-down list. As the responses are applied, the user's initials and the system date are applied automatically as well. In the Working Paper Reference column, you can reference any document on the document manager of the file using this drop-down. You can reference multiple documents by clicking the drop-down cell again and making subsequent selections. To view any of the reference documents, simply right-click on the cell and select the document from the list. You can also right-click to clear the references. If you hover the cursor over references to other checklists, like this reference to Form 20502, you will notice the tooltip indicates you are able to open the reference document by double-clicking the reference, which could be a handy time saver. The right-click menu options on the Express buttons are consistent with the options in the Fundamentals documents. To explore the options available in any particular section, simply right-click the Express button, and the options available for that specific section of the document are available for selection. You also have the option to change the presentation of the bullets for each procedure by right-clicking on the bullet and selecting the preferred presentation from the options available. There are two letters provided with the PEG audit checklists, the audit findings and the audit planning letters. To demonstrate how you can apply the digital letterhead from your Jazzit Fundamentals templates to these letters, I'll open the audit findings letter. To load the letterhead for these letters, open the Document Settings area by clicking on this icon. Then, hovering the cursor over this button, the tooltip indicates that the letterhead will be loaded from the Jazzit Fundamentals Resource Center, the KLib file. When we then preview the letter, your firm's letterhead is included. Lastly, we'll take a look at the materiality options available. I'll open the Materiality checklist 2-10 and jump to the Preliminary Materiality section. Here you have the option to select which balances you wish to use from the caseware trial balance using this drop-down, and selecting either preliminary, budget or final balances. Based on this selection, the balances will be obtained from the opening balance column when preliminary is selected, the budget column when budget selected. If you have the budget balances available in the caseware trial balance, these balances will be used. Otherwise, you can enter them manually on the Materiality checklist. Or, if you selected final, the balances from the final reporting period column will be obtained. Enter the previous reporting period's materiality amount here, as well as the preliminary amount for the current period here. As you record the preliminary materiality amount, this amount is automatically transferred as the final materiality amount as well. By double-clicking on this reference to checklist 4-10 to the left, the document is opened, and you will note the preliminary amount captured in checklist 210 displayed at the top. Scrolling down to the Evaluation of Misstatements section, you have the opportunity to capture the calculated final materiality here, if different to the preliminary amount captured in 2-10. Here I've replaced the 23,000, which defaulted from the preliminary 23,000 entered, with the calculated final amount of 20,000. When we then return to the Materiality checklist 210, the calculated final amount is transferred from the 4-10 checklist. Now returning to any other checklist, for example the 3A cash review procedures we had open earlier, this new final materiality amount in the 210 is used. Let's quickly recap what we just learned. We reviewed the functionality available in the PEG checklist provided by Jazzit, which included the following: the arrangement of the checklists on the document manager of the file, options available to the Jazzit administrators in the resource centers, functionality available to file preparers, digital letterhead options, and materiality options. Caseware should be easy. To find out how, visit us at www.jazzit.com.